For this last 2 weeks, it was nice, it was quiet, it was peaceful, and then we decided there is still so much to talk about. So let's bring Leading the Charge back.
And then our creative service department made that great intro, and I was like, yeah, I'm fired up. We got to come back because guess what? It's the offseason, and there's never anything that is short of content when it comes to the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, so I mean, for the last 5 months, we have talked about what has happened. We now will be talking about what could happen for the next 7 months, and that's honestly way more fun. So let's start the conversation right now. For our first episode back of Leading the Charge, we are joined by our buddy Jenna Cottrell, Buffalo Plus, 13 Wham. Hello, Jenna. Thank you for doing this.
Hey, guys. Good to talk to you. It's been a minute.
Well, it's been a minute. We were sitting there. We were seeing each other basically 4 times a week for what? Months and months and months. And now we won't see you for months. So here we go. It's good that we can do this now.
I love it. Thanks for having me on.
So what do you got? Anything for Jenna?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, Jenna, what do you make of just where the Bills start this offseason? I guess, like, if you had to give, like, the biggest priority that if you're Brandon Beane in terms of what this team has to accomplish in the next couple of months, where would you start?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so much new, and I think that's one of the biggest things is going into this offseason. When the season had first ended, it was like, all right, we'll know the guys that will be back, but now with Joe Brady being promoted, obviously new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, new special teams coordinator. For Brandon Beane, it's going to be getting the guys in the building that will best fit the schemes. But I'm looking at the Super Bowl and watching it yesterday, and I'm like, I know that JSN didn't have a big game, but to get to the Super Bowl, it's like, hey, having a really good wide receiver, that would be pretty cool. And I think that's something that the Bills, we've talked about so much of these last couple of years. And that to me is still a thing that the Bills need to do. And then pass rush. We've also talked about that year after year after year. Now can you get the guys that can fit Jim Leonard's system and just figure out what will be most effective for this Bills defense, and then also having more playmakers on the offensive side of the ball.
Do you feel more or less confident in the Bills being able to get to that point after watching the game yesterday?
I feel like I'm more confident because so many changes were made that there's so much pressure to get it right that I feel like you're going to have to take some swings if you're Brandon Beane. Like you got a promotion, you brought in and promoted Joe Brady. Like there is pressure to get it right because this was a lot of the decision making based on you. And so I think for this Bills team, with the new players too that are going to eventually be here because of the scheme changes and what that'll do, I just think for me I have confidence that they can get it right, but I think they're going to have to be aggressive to get where they want to be because of the holes on this roster and just the changeover that will inevitably take place because of how different things will be.
I think the changes to the roster, obviously, it's going to happen because you have a new defensive play caller, to your point there too, Jenna. But I'm watching yesterday's game, and I'm thinking to myself, Josh Allen in this game is still such a dominating X factor that I think gives the Bills a shot in any situation to go win this game. So just, I mean, you look at the way he is centered around this offense, just how confident are you that despite the changes that might happen on each side of the ball, the Bills can maintain a little bit of that consistency that we've seen them have over the duration of kind of the rise of his career?
Yeah, Josh Allen, I mean, he is the ultimate fixer, right? Like, he can make any situation better, and we've seen him be able to take the offense and put it on his shoulders, the entire team, put it on his shoulders, and be able to will the Bills to wins. And so I think for Josh, when you have Josh Allen, the window will always be open, right? Like, that is absolutely the case. But I feel like now looking at things, we for so many years we knew what the floor was. You knew what the floor was. You knew what the ceiling was as well. And now with how different things are, I'm curious. I still expect the floor to be high, but we don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. And I think one of the things that I really appreciated about Joe Brady in his opening press conference and his introductory one is like, we don't get to start off where Sean McDermott left this franchise. And I think that's a really important thing to note because in the NFL, it is all about you have to earn the right to win. And it's such a cliche, but it is true. So I feel like for this team, it's, okay, there's going to be, like I talked about, a new message from a new voice, and also just making sure that this team, is strategically building this roster. But when you have Josh Allen, I mean, like I said, the window is always open.
3 weeks ago, that's when they fired Sean McDermott. It was 3 weeks ago today. Full disclosure, we have a group message. We're in, your colleagues, Dan, Mike, they're in the group message. We talk about everything in the group message. And when they fired Sean McDermott, I think we were really surprised by it. And I think there was some pushback, too, of whether or not it was the right move. 3 weeks later, do you feel better, worse, or the same about the decision to go in a new direction and ultimately fire Sean McDermott?
I think it's still, like, for me, I understand now the changes and why things were done. I just do think that I need to see, like, the offseason, how much things change and what they do in the draft and what they do in free agency. And look, they made it very clear that they wanted a new message and they were not happy with the former voice of the team, and they made changes to amend that. But I do think that right now, where we're standing, it seems like this has energized some of the players, and I think that's great. You want that, but I think it's too soon. Like, it's going to take seeing what they do with this roster and then seeing ultimately what happens on Sundays. And that will be the biggest indicator of, was this a success? Was this the right decision? Or was this a decision that maybe backfired in the long run?
I guess going off that too, Jenna, maybe it's a little bit too early to have an answer to this question. But when it comes to, you're talking about Joe Brady, let's talk about Brandon Beam. Do you think it is still too early to get a gauge on the confidence level of where you feel right now that Brandon Beam can address the multiple maybe deficiencies or depth pieces that he needs to add to this roster and get that done this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably extremely motivated, like I talked about, because of the changes that have been made. And I feel like when that's the case, you're like, I got to get this right. I got to be aggressive. And we have seen Bean be aggressive in the past. Obviously, the Von Miller signing, when they traded for Stephon Diggs, like, we have seen this team go big fish hunting. And I feel like the last couple of years, Bean has talked about the fact that they're going to be shopping at the sales rack, and he's made that clear. But I think when you make moves like this, it sets up for something big in the future. So that is my expectation, is that there will be a big move made in this offseason. But I think, look, Josh Allen is a phenomenal talent. We all know that. But you also need other talented pieces around him. I think Brandon Bean has done a great job with the offensive line, obviously then drafting James Cook. Now you have questions with Connor McGovern and David Edwards. Are you going to bring guys like that back? But I think overall, the way to get better is to add more talent. We saw that in the Super Bowl yesterday, drafting guys like JSN. That's obviously a higher pick than the Bills have been at in quite some time, but how valuable the draft can be also. So I'm curious if that means a big move means moving up in the draft, or if it means a big move in free agency or a trade. But for me, if I am being aggressive.
Are you being aggressive with a wide receiver, an edge rusher, or the field? If you're allowed to make one big splash, what are you doing?
I mean, I would do wide receiver, but that's just me. But I don't like A.J. Brown. I shouldn't say I don't like. I just feel like that wouldn't exactly be the right fit in Buffalo. I know that's been a name that's been floated around. But that being said, I'd be curious who you could add. And just another equation in this is the salary cap if you go through free agency, just because, the Bills, it's not the best situation there in terms of the cap. They're going to have to do some finagling. They're going to have to be doing some restructuring and kind of kicking the can down the line. That's not to be said it can't be done, but they've kind of put themselves in a corner of what is applicable right now and how they would have to kind of work out getting a deal like that done.
And real quick, Jenna, I want to ask you, because you mentioned a couple of those free agent guys that have to make decisions on with David and Connor. Are there a guy or two that you think the Bills should absolutely bring back? And then the flip side of that, is there somebody you think that it's just time for the Bills and them to part ways?
I think I really like Connor McGovern. I just think he also probably wants to get paid, which is understandable. He's 28 years old. He's been with this system, though, for a while. And I think you saw just what he has added to this Bills offensive line. And look, I know Mitch Morse was a great player before that. And I think if you're Bean, you have a lot of confidence that you can find the guy of those guys on that line to fit in that spot. But for me, I really like what Connor McGovern, just his attitude, even what he adds in terms of the locker room and the camaraderie and kind of the leadership piece as well. So that's a guy I would like to see them bring back, but financially, I don't know if they would really be in a position to actually get that done.
Connor McGovern and I are basically the same person, just he's crazy athletic. And
I think
they should let him walk.
They should just get him out of here.
I thought you were David Edwards.
No, Connor McGovern.
Okay.
Connor just makes pizza better than Bove, though. I think
definitely.
Right
No.
Okay.
I can order a pizza. I cannot make a pizza. If you are watching on television, that is Jenna Cottrell. You can follow all of her work, Buffalo Plus, everywhere you get your podcasts, YouTube, everywhere, and also on TV in Rochester on Channel 13, our ABC affiliate. We are going to talk to Jenna for a couple more minutes on the stream. If you're watching on TV, we're going to take a quick break. My one-on-one with Joe Brady coming up on the other side. All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you to Jenna Cottrell for joining us in our first segment. So, like we mentioned a little bit ago, 3 weeks ago today, they fired Sean McDermott. A few weeks later, or a week later, they hired Joe Brady. It's been a whirlwind for him. But I wanted to sit down and talk about why he wanted the job and what is his vision moving forward. Here's that.
Look, this is everything we've wanted. It's been a lot of fun just putting it all together, and haven't pinched myself yet, but I know at some point it's going to happen.
When did you know this is what you wanted?
Look, it was like I said, I've always wanted to be a head football coach, but I know it sounds a little crazy. People are like, oh yeah, I was going to try to be selective if I could, and this is where I wanted to be. Obviously, I didn't think I'd ever get a chance to be the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, but when that opportunity came up, I let them know I wanted to interview, and there was trying to picture yourself of like not being. This is the only place I wanted to be.
Why? Why is this the only place?
I mean, look. It hit when we found out Coach McDermott was no longer here. I mean, it hit me, because it hit me in a lot of reasons. One, like, you realize, man, I might not get to even be an offensive coordinator here, right? You go through the interview process, you're like, man, I love my day job. I love my day job. Not that I'm playing with house money, but I get to still be the offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills. And then I woke up the next day, and that was about the only thing I knew I wasn't going to be as the offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills. And so you start really thinking about what Buffalo means to you, the people that I get to coach, the players I'm around, and trying to picture yourself anywhere else. And I literally couldn't. I'm so fortunate I don't have to.
When you did your press conference, one of the times when you got emotional was when you were talking about Buffalo. I saw the video where you were like, I think you were talking to Derek, and you were like, Buffalo, you got emotional.
Yeah.
What is it about this place? Is it the team? Is it the life memories you've made here? Like, why is that something that would bring out that type of emotion?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything, right? Like, it's funny, it's not funny, but right before I had my press conference, I had like our all staff meeting. It was the exact same thing. You look around the people, and these are a lot of people that I've worked with in this city. The people here are so special, and they've accepted me. They've allowed me to be me. The Bills are everything here, and so many life events have happened here, and I'm so fortunate from that. And it was one of those places where, like, I don't want to live anywhere else. And so, it's. As soon as I hear the term Buffalo, like, a lot of things always flow through my head, and it's real. But I love this place.
How is Joe Brady different today than the Joe Brady who got here in 2022 as the quarterback's coach?
I like to think in a lot of ways I'm the same person I got into coaching with in 2013, but I've grown a lot because I've been around. I've failed, right? The guy that got here in 2022 was a guy that was just coming off of an offensive coordinating experience that didn't go as planned, right? And when I got let go from that opportunity, it wasn't like, let me blame that person, let me blame this person. I just kind of pointed the thumb at myself and was like, if I get an opportunity again, what am I going to do differently? What am I learn from it? And at the core is the people. Like, I learned so much more now about how investing in the people and my guys and understanding them allows me to be a much better coach. And I think I'm in this position right now because of that.
When you think about the interview process, you mentioned that at times it was very difficult and there were some really hard questions. What about it was difficult? Was it difficult because you were trying to separate what you've done with what you were trying to convey, or was it difficult just because of the types of things they were asking you?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. It's unique perspective because I've been in the building, and it was important for me to not talk about issues that have potentially been, or it was more of like, hey, this is just the direction that I believe this organization can go, and if there's a difference in that, I'll let them assume or infer on whatever that could be. And it was more of direction and not just change. And that's what I was hoping for, that the interview wasn't going to be a, hey, let's just find out all the issues or what's gone wrong in the organization. Let's find that out for the next, so we have an idea where it's at. But it was cool because they asked a lot of tough questions that, maybe they knew the answers or they didn't, but they didn't assume anything, and you're having to put yourself in a lot of different roles, a lot of different scenarios, look, as like anything, you just get grilled for a while with answers. Don't get me wrong, it was a flowing conversation. It wasn't like it was just rapid fire, but they really made sure they knew exactly what they wanted. When they left, it wasn't like, hey, let's try to find out some more information. For the first interview, with the way that their day was already going, I was extremely impressed.
There was a line that you brought up in the press conference that kind of stuck with me. It was, when our players do well, that's on them, but when they don't, that's on me.
Yep.
And then you talked about the accountability piece.
Yep.
From that accountability standpoint, for a team that has fallen short, why do you think it is? And how did the offense that you were running play a piece in that?
Yeah, it will always. Sometimes when people think that I take the blame on myself, that's not, like, I'm not handling the accountability with my players. Like, no matter when we have success or when we don't, I'm always looking at, hey, what could I have done better? You know, Josh will have a play sometimes and he throws a touchdown and it was like, was that a good play call? You know, it wasn't just it was a good play call because we threw a touchdown. Like, I go through it, and just because it's not always you can't always judge the quality of a decision by the result, and I try to really pride myself on that. But I also think it's important for our players to understand that, hey, I'm going to be accountable. I'm going to be accountable with them. We're going to handle it. We're going to be hard in the meeting rooms. I'm going to take a part of the blame, but we do actually correct. It's not just, hey, we didn't do well, it's on me, you guys are good. Like, we do that, but in that environment and in the media and all that, that's part of what comes with the job. I'm always going to take the blame and kind of go from that. And yeah, if we're not getting the job done, I have to do a better job in those situations. I'm just as a part of it.
You downplayed it a little bit, but obviously your defensive coordinator hire is a very big factor. You said it's not the biggest decision. They're all big decisions, but I think we're all kind of waiting on what you were going to decide there. Why Jim Leonhard?
When I think, and I can't wait look, the city of Buffalo kind of knows him a little bit, but I look forward to when you guys get an opportunity to talk with him. Clear vision, understanding, great communicator. He can paint a picture of exactly what he wants it to look like and can hold the players to that same accountability. Like, I always think it's really important when you watch a team play, you can tell how they communicate, you can tell if you're trying to put them in stressful situations, how they handle it. And I think it's a reflection of him as a coach, how his guys kind of play. Then when you get an opportunity to talk to him, not just from the back end, but talk to him from a front standpoint, what stresses defense, what would be your ideal way of, like, what are you looking, like, everything that he was talking about, man, it was just like, we could have talked for hours, and exactly what I was looking for. And like, obviously, like I was waiting for the phone call, I was just waiting for him to want to be a part of this, and I'm so grateful he's here, and I'm excited what he's going to do.
Last one for me now is, when you think about where you need to go, this team has already had success, but they haven't gotten all the way there. How do you get all the way there? What is your vision to ultimately get over the hump?
Well, I think the biggest thing is making sure everybody knows we don't get to pick up there where we left off. And I think that's always a hard thing, because you think it's like, oh man, we got to the divisional round. Oh, last year we got to the conference championship. Like, we don't get to pick up where we left off. And so many times we think it's just a player here or a play there or whatnot. And there's so many other little things that got to that point. And that's the biggest thing to me, is making sure our mentality is where it needs to be, and making sure that we're not thinking it was just one player here, one player there, that was the difference. But I think my energy and my mentality is going to be something that's going to allow those guys that when we get to that point, we got to go take advantage of it.
All right, very much appreciate Joe Brady for sitting down with us. We have one segment left of Leading the Charge. If you're watching on the stream, we'll have a couple minutes to chat about some of the things that Joe Brady said. If you're watching on TV, don't go anywhere. We will be right back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back, everybody. During the commercial, I got the text from my mom. If you see this, tighten your tie. Does that look tighter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, very tight.
Shout out, Mom. Does that look tighter? There you go. We're tightening it. Normally, she texts me these things during the show, but I'm busy during the show, so I don't necessarily see it. But this time, I happen to be looking at my phone. So shout out, Mom. The tie is now tighter. Final thoughts as we now shift our focus to another week of the offseason, because it's crazy. Even though football just ended, in 2 weeks, Dom is going to be in Indy for the NFL Combine. Once the Combine gets here, free agency's 2 weeks after that. Yeah. Then it's time for the draft. So there's really not quiet time, which is good job security for us.
I think my final thought is, I know a lot of Bills fans out there are going to say, man, we really need that playmaking wide receiver. This offense has to become a juggernaut because look who the quarterback is, right? And that's true. Yeah. They need help in the wide receiver room. But last night, watching the Super Bowl, 2 years in a row that we have watched a defensive line completely change the game, take the momentum out of one team and shift it to another. So while that wide receiver room is important, do not be surprised if Brandon Beane makes a lot of moves, and whether that comes in free agency or in the draft, to again try to bring in different elements that make this Bills pass rush the kind of unit that the Eagles had 2 Super Bowls ago and the ones you saw in Seattle last night.
Usually my final thoughts when we do Leading the Charge during the season are about like seasonal Christmas music or some food that I'm enjoying at the moment. This one's actually about football. Go for it. you are so close. The teams that I watched on the television last night play in the Super Bowl, I don't think are that much better than the Buffalo Bills. I could even make the argument that the Bills are better than certainly one of those teams, maybe both of those teams. Be bold, be aggressive, go make a big splash this offseason, get a wide receiver, get a pass rusher, and then who knows, maybe next year you'll be playing in that game.
You should turn that into a t-shirt.
There you go. Leading the Charge is back, everybody. We'll see you guys again next Monday. Howard's joining us. That's Dom. I'm Matt. For Jenna and Michelle in the control room, have a great night, everybody.